Good evening. For those of you that do not know me, my name is DebbieDelasio. I'm the former superintendent of Newcastle Area School District. I retired after 42 years in the district in June of 2022. I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you tonight due to a prior obligation, but I cannot let this night go without talking to you a little bit about what happened to us on March 13th, 2022. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was in my office. I get a phone call from the Department of Ed that they will be holding a Zoom meeting within 15 minutes. Little did I know the meeting would change our lives forever. They stated on the Zoom meet that all Pennsylvania schools would be closed for 2 weeks due to a virus called COVID. The 2 weeks turned into the rest of the 2020 school year and the 21-22 school year. The students, the staff, the parents, the community, and the whole world was turned upside down now. My main concern prior to COVID was education of our students. After COVID, my priorities changed. Although education continued to be important, there were many more concerns to address. The students either had no idea what was going on to deal with or to how to deal with COVID. That weekend was St. Patrick's Day weekend. We were going out to celebrate. Well, instead of that, we were in the office Saturday and Sunday night, day and night. Monday, day and night, and on and on and on. We were not properly prepared for the magnitude of this pandemic. Our main focus in the school district turned mainly to health, safety, and nutrition for our students and their families. The manner that we delivered instruction and communication changed dramatically. It was delivered solely on technology. The health and safety, we posted letters daily. We posted letters daily on the Newcastle Area School District webpage. We encouraged masking and assisted anyone who needed a mask. We educated about social distancing, continued reminders about hygiene, washing hands over and over again. Administrators, teachers, nurses, guidance counselors were constant communication with our students and their families. The purpose of the calls were to assist them in needs associated with COVID and all the problems arising from it. Quarantine lengths to minimize the effects of COVID or to spread to other members of the family. The agencies available for assistance for the mental health and the social emotional needs of our students and their families. As the CDC guidelines came out, we met with recommendations. We posted the recommendations daily, sometimes hourly. It was really a frightening time for everyone. Nutrition. First thing we did was put a plan in place for buses to take breakfast and lunch for 7 days for every child in the household. We took the food to their bus stops to help alleviate transportation problems. We also had a major concern for our students and their families in the Newcastle Area School District to be fed properly and nourished during this time. We sat down with a group of administrators, our food service director, our business manager. From there, we started to plan together. Then came the community members, the church clubs, the local restaurants, previous graduating classes started donating money for us to provide drive-by dinners for families along with the district. Every evening from 4 to 6, we were at the Newcastle High School giving drive-by food for our families up to 6. I always knew what a special community Newcastle was, but I realized the people here are caring, loving, and really around their community in a time of crisis. And we were definitely in a crisis. The education came. Technology had to be purchased to be able to start educating our students during Google Meets and Google Classrooms. The district purchased Chromebooks for students and for teachers. The students were learning a brand new way, and teachers were teaching differently than they have ever taught before. Obviously, the teachers lacked contact with their students, and with that, they lost personal contact. Students became faces on a computer. Anyone that knows a 5-year-old or a 9-year-old knows it's very difficult to hold their attention even 20 minutes in person, let alone on a computer. Students were able to see their peers, but could not communicate. with them. Teachers were adding work to Google Classroom daily, trying to get most out of the students. While teachers were working diligently, everyone was starting to see the COVID numbers increase. We were required by the state to write a health and safety plan and an education plan. It was challenging, putting plans down when they would change daily, sometimes hourly. We provided the social, emotional learning to students through Google Classrooms, along with our wonderful partnerships with our community agency. Social and emotional learning at this point was so very important. As we were preparing, we had little knowledge of the effect it would have on our students at home. Some of them were sick with COVID, some of their loved ones were very ill, and some lost a loved one from this terrible virus. Students were losing their everyday socialization with their friends, their teachers, their neighbors, with the entire community. There was no contact sports, nowhere for children to go outdoors and to socialize with one another. Then, after all this and putting everything together, we needed to start a return to school plan. We had to redesign classrooms for social distancing in classrooms, as well as hallways, cafeteria. Children loved to talk in the cafeteria with each other and socialize. They had to shout across tables. It just was not conducive to learning. If students came down with COVID, parents in their classroom had to be notified, the entire classroom. Those sitting close to them had to be quarantined for 10 days, and then it went down to 5 days. There were even times that a whole class had to be quarantined. The rule of thumb was that if 4 children in that class came down with COVID, the entire class had to return to Google Classroom. COVID was a logistical nightmare. No traditional physical education classes. The students were not allowed to be in physical contact, so there was no way to really relieve the stress at school that we could offer other than working with social, emotional, and any mental health issues that came up and continue to support the children the best that we knew how. The effects of COVID. Attendance was poor. Parents still were not comfortable sending their students back to school. Their students' social, emotional showed a deficit in their actions. We had hardships during this time. The students, the staff, and myself had a hardship with illness and death. Needless to say, this was the hardest year and a half of my career. However, we survived. But as they say, a diamond earns its sparkle from the pressure it endured. The Newcastle Area School District, its staff, its community, and most importantly, our students certainly sparked under immense pressure, and for that, I am forever thankful and encouraged. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you, and it was a pleasure serving on this committee.